Hello and welcome to Game Changer. I'm Mariam Sia. Tonight we will be focusing on Pakistan's long-standing ties with the United Arab Emirates. We know that, of course, Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister of UAE, Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan, concluded his two-day visit to Islamabad, Pakistan. In his visit, of course, he met with his counterpart, Senator Ishaq Dar, as well as he held meeting with Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif. And when we look at Pakistan's ties with UAE, they went back to 1971. Pakistan was one of the first countries to recognize UAE. And when we talk specifically about this visit, three important memorandum of understandings were signed between both the countries. And when we talk about these memoranda of understandings, they include cultural exchanges between UAE Ministry of Culture and Pakistan's Culture Division, a joint committee to overhaul consular services, and the UAE-Pakistan Joint Business Council. UAE ranks as the third largest trading partner after China and US. And of course, we also know that 1.8 million Pakistanis live in Emirates, and they contribute to remittances around $5.5 billion. In today's program, we will be talking about the significance of this important visit and how both the countries can enhance their bilateral relations, as well as different dimensions of these ties when we talk about history as well as the future of both these countries is concerned. To discuss this and more, we are joined in the studios by former Ambassador Ms. Naila Chauhan. We are also joined by President of the Institute of Peace and Diplomatic Studies, Dr. Farhat Asif. Welcome to the program. We are joined online by Senior Economist Dr. Hassan Zafar. Welcome to the program. Ambassador Naila, let me start with you. Of course, when we look at this important visit of Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed, what are your key takeaways from this visit?
I think there are many takeaways from this visit. As you know, as you have also in your summary given the gist of our relationship. There have been frequent high-level exchanges. Our Prime Minister had gone there last year also, and at that time a joint statement had been issued on how to move forward in our relationship, and this visit further fortifies what was already agreed upon. As you mentioned, there are two MoUs and one agreement. I think the agreement on consular affairs is the most important for Pakistanis because they were suffering visa problems. Yeah. UAE is a hub, so wherever you have to go via UAE. So the consular agreement, I think, will be very beneficial for Pakistanis. You rightly mentioned we have the largest diaspora in UAE, and we have a lot of remittances, but we also have defense cooperation with them. You know, in their airlines, Emirates, if you see its logo, it says EK. It was Emirates Karachi because they started from Karachi. So EK
in 1985, Pakistan contributed to the aviation industry of UAE.
So the first 5 air chiefs of UAE were Pakistanis.
Yes.
So our relationship is very deep-rooted, and it needs to be further enhanced as our societies are moving forward. So I think the cultural agreement, then having joint business council means that we are not looking at aid, we are looking at trade. We have shifted, as we had been talking in earlier programs also, from geostrategic to geoeconomic. So establishment of this joint business council is also very important. The chairman of FPCC, I was there, and our traders would find areas of cooperation and joint beneficial business relations.
Right, of course, those remains important factors. But Dr. Farhat, at the same time, when we look at this visit, earlier we witnessed, of course, high-level delegation exchanges between both the countries when Prime Minister Shahbaz visited there, and of course UAE leadership also visited Pakistan. But beyond these ceremonial optics, How important, in your opinion, was this visit, and what kind of mechanisms or follow-up mechanisms should be established by Islamabad as far as different cultural exchanges or visa facilities are concerned?
Thank you so much, Mariam, for inviting me to discuss this important visit. April has been one of the tremendous step forward for Pakistan's diplomacy. We have not only witnessed foreign minister from UAE, but we have also witnessed a range of visits from different countries. Foreign minister from Hungary, foreign minister from Rwanda was here. There were also a visit from congressman, US, there was high level visit from the US. So April was a high level diplomacy range of making Pakistan at the spotlight of global diplomacy and also regional diplomacy. This visit was a highlight. Of course, we are ending the April right now. And when I look at the visits and memorandum of understanding, Mariam, for the last 30, 50 years, we have been signing these agreements and cooperation. What we need to look at is that how we follow up. And one of the main area of visit of foreign minister this time was building up what we had discussed, the prime ministers and the head of the state of UAE discussed during their earlier visits and combination of meetings in earlier this year. So building up is a pipeline. It is what foreign offices and different ministries usually do.
A lot of investments were
exactly. And what is important to answer your question about how the channelizing it, as I'm building on what Ambassador Naila has also shared about not aid but also business and trade as well, but the business council. It is the responsibility of the traders, it will be responsibility of the business people, how they channelize, how they monetize this important aspect from both sides. And world is opening up for us. It is us that we need to look at how to take that opportunity and make it happen for us.
Of course,
exactly.
That remains an important issue. Let me bring Dr. Hassan into the discussion. Dr. Hassan, with UAE being the Pakistan's third largest trading partner after US and China, and more than $10 billion invested over the 20 years period. What sectors should Pakistan be focusing upon to attract fresh UAE investments?
Thank you very much, Mariam. But there are several sectors where UAE and Pakistan collaborate in terms of economic development. Number one, we can benefit from UAE's vast tourism experience. UAE, as we know, they have done very well in the tourism sector, and Pakistan has a lot of potential for promoting tourism. So that is one key area where I think UAE can be very crucial in developing Pakistan's tourism, especially in the northern areas. And then there are other areas where UAE can be a very important partner. For example, we have a very growing fashion industry. We know Pakistani women's clothing brands are demanded everywhere, and there is a huge Indian and Pakistani diaspora in the UAE, and these demands are quite in demand, not only in UAE but in other countries as well. So that is one thing. So this kind of partnership where we are able to underpin the areas of common interest, where we have shared economic interests, that can be very helpful. And let's not forget, you rightly pointed out that UAE is the third largest trading partner. $10.9 billion trade was exceeding in 23-24, and UAE has pledged 10 billion in investment. It was announced in May 2024 for infrastructure, railways, and special economic zones. So these special economic zones, which are part of the China-Pakistan economic corridor, that is where UAE can be very helpful in bringing investment. So that kind of foreign direct investment, if it is promised to Pakistan, it can really boost the potential of these economic zones. And let's not forget that we have UAEs hosting, yes, it's home to 1.8 million Pakistanis who
Right. And
contribute
that is my next
6.7
question to
billion.
you. Yeah, yeah, that's my next question to you, Dr. Hassan. 1.8 million Pakistani expats in UAE sent around $5.5 billion remittances this fiscal year. In your opinion, what tailored diaspora bond or schemes or investment schemes are required at this point in time?
Well, housing sector is one area where overseas Pakistanis like to invest. They have traditionally felt safe in that sector. So, government should introduce such schemes where real estate sector, if that is developed, it can attract a lot of overseas Pakistanis investment. So, because traditionally they have felt safe in investing in those areas. Apart from that, there are government can introduce schemes in different sectors. For example, tourism, for example, infrastructure development, and can offer overseas Pakistanis opportunity to invest in those key areas. So that can be a very uh, helpful thing in bringing investment from the overseas Pakistanis by engaging them. And I think the government took a very good step by organizing this convention of the overseas Pakistanis. So they were able to certainly explore the opportunities in Pakistan firsthand.
Right, and Dr. Hassan, like you earlier alluded to, that bilateral trade also reached to around 10.9 billion in fiscal year 2023 to 24. How critical is a comprehensive economic partnership agreement for boosting it to a 5% share of GDP? And in your opinion, what challenges or bottlenecks still remain?
The challenges are the growing geopolitical changes, and I think Ambassador Nala is with us. She is in a very good position to explain that, because the kind of geopolitical changes taking place around us, that remains a challenge. And I think, should be very careful and mindful of these changes and find our way through this kind of development that's taking place. So that remains an area of concern for us, I think. And that's the main
Right, right.
challenge.
Of course, we will be discussing geopolitical issues with our esteemed guest here in the studios. But lastly, Dr. Hassan, what kind of diversification strategies or sectors are needed by Pakistan at this point in time to reduce sectoral risks as far as our trade with UAE is concerned?
I think diversification that is required now is that Pakistan should be exploring in the areas of technology. This is the age of the artificial intelligence, and a lot of developments are taking place. Old technologies are dying, new technologies are taking birth. So that is where I think UAE can be very helpful. For example, we have fiber optics infrastructure in Pakistan. That is where UAE can invest, the foreign direct investment. And the Pakistanis living there, the government should think about creating opportunities that those Pakistanis should be encouraged to invest in the areas of national infrastructure as well, especially if we want to develop our human resource. UAE and Pakistan can collaborate in the areas where we can establish institutions where we can train our young people who can be helpful in these areas.
Right. Thank you very much, Dr. Hassan Zafar, for joining us in today's discussion. Ambassador Naila, when we look at this visit, of course, this visit also covered areas of geopolitical and strategic importance to both the countries. And when we talk about those issues, it includes Afghanistan as well. So, in your opinion, how do you see Pakistan and UAE's policies aligning in future? Because we know that in the recent past, a lot of talks were hosted by United Arab Emirates.
That is true, Mariam, but I would, I'd be a little cautious about it, because each country has its own national interest, and we have to look at ourselves within the location we are in, and they are in GCC, and then UAE and Saudi Arabia collaborate a lot, so they work together, and we have very cordial relations, brotherly relations with both these countries. But as far as the regional developments are concerned, UAE has very good relations with India also, and we have a lot of difficulties with India, and we have very good relations with Qatar, and I don't think UAE and Qatar see eye to eye. So, given those differences of interest.
So let's talk about those differences. Do you think that Pakistan can play a part in Qatar and GCC reconciliation, and at the same time, do you think that Pakistan can use UAE's diplomatic clout at this point in time for its own diplomatic interests?
Well, each country has to work for itself, basically, I would say so. And yes, our friendship is very good for our economic and trade. They are establishing refineries here. You're getting, OGDC is doing a lot of research. You're getting oil and gas coming out in your country as well. You can benefit from their investments. They have this PAP, they call Pakistan Assistance Program, in which they are investing in Balochistan as well. I think they invested about $5 billion in the recent times for infrastructure development of Balochistan. So, let's keep it that way. As far as the geostrategic is concerned, I would say we function within OIC. That is one platform in which we join hands when it comes to Kashmir issue. Afghanistan is a country we need to have more stronger relationship. China is investing there. So, there are many players in the region and a lot of fluidity that's going on. So, we have to tread carefully on that.
Of course, we have to tread carefully. What's your take on that firstly, Dr. Farhat? And also I want to ask you about connectivity, because of course our connectivity to UAE is we are very close to UAE in that regards, but at the same time a trans-Afghan railway, do you think that is possible when it comes to UAE's role in it, keeping in mind the China's project of BRI and the larger picture? Do you think UAE can play a part in mobilizing a Gulf Asia corridor of some sort?
Yeah, first of all, building on what Ambassador Nala is saying about geostrategic aspect of the region, Pakistan need to tiptoe, Pakistan need to balance all the relationship with the countries. As you had also asked the question about UAE and Qatar, their own ties, their own problems and challenges, Pakistan need to balance all the relationship as our foreign policy mandate, as our foreign policy forefathers had also guided us over the time period, and we still do follow that. Based on what a few days ago our foreign minister was there in Kabul, today Prime Minister is in Turkey. We are making our best possible to make a best possible foot forward in our diplomacy, in making our country's interests saved, not only into wrangling in any disputes in the region, helping ourselves, building our economy. UAE's presence here is, if you look at those agreements that you see, is primarily economic, not geostrategic or anything else. It is what we really want to do. And building on what Dr. Hassan was also saying, what we really need to do is to have our country and country people to be skilled enough to engage with these countries in a manner that we will be, benching on our profits, or benching on our country's foot forward. And then regarding your question about the, UAE's role in building the Asia and Arab, GCC related work.
Asia corridor.
Primarily what, as Ambassador has also said, what countries do is that they invest based on their interest. If there is an interest involved, if there is an engagement involved with Afghanistan, if there is an engagement involved, of course, obviously, and Pakistan is building on and helping, stabilizing both countries, Pakistan and UAE. Of course, over the time period, we have witnessed the dialogue happening there. Afghanistan is an issue, but at the same time, Afghanistan is an opportunity for the region to build together as a corridor to help Afghans themselves and also for the region. And I think that UAE and Pakistan are, into dialogue, helping the Afghans to have these kind of presence in globally as well, and of course at the dialogue level to keep peace with the neighbors, so that this connectivity projects that are not going on between Pakistan and UAE, and of course the investment happening, but also Central Asian republics as well.
Of course,
across the region, there is a will for making this
very
happen.
important points highlighted by both our guests. And to talk more about it, we are now joined online by former Ambassador Mr. G.R. Baloch. Mr. G.R. Baloch, welcome to the program. We are talking about this significant visit by Sheikh Abdullah to Pakistan, and of course overall fraternal ties between Pakistan and UAE. And like our earlier guest also said that of course investment and economics remains an important factor when it comes to ties between any of the two countries, and for Pakistan and UAE for that matter. And like Dr. Farhar also alluded to, that any country invests in the regions that are of their own interest. And when we look at UAE, of course UAE plans to tap to Pakistan's $6 trillion mineral wealth through projects like Ricodec. What kind of governance frameworks are needed for this kind of sustainable mining partnerships, in your opinion?
Thank you, Mayam, for having me on your program. I think it's very important as the world moves from geopolitics to geoeconomics. I think so is the case now as far as our foreign relations are concerned. And as far as UAE and the Gulf region is concerned, this is our immediate neighborhood. This is our vital link. We share the same Arabian Sea. And also that history goes back to the very beginning of when UAE was just still in its very, very initial stage. And Pakistan's workers, Pakistan's professionals, their really sweat and tears is into these high rises that we see today. So perhaps we can now break new frontiers, and the new frontiers obviously are, in my view, not only the mining but many other. But I think immediately what we need is that we have been bestowed by God Almighty with this enormous wealth underneath. So we need people with assets, with money, technology. We hope we can develop within our own country. So when you talk of strategically, I think what we need to do is to tap the funds that they have. We can actually even collaborate and cooperate to develop that technology, that whole chain of excavation and production of the rare earths and precious metals. Because in my view, it's not enough to just give concession to the people so they extract the minerals, take them home, and then sort of give us peanuts or just residual income that comes. I think Pakistan should now partner in a way that those people who want to invest in our mines and minerals must come up with some proper proposals to set up those production industries right there. One, that it will be like we can get more share out of our own wealth. Two, that it will bring prosperity in the region. And that's very important, because what are the challenges now for us in Balochistan and KPK? That people want to have the share. So I think the best answer to this is that we get these investors, that they should invest not only into the mining but into the production of these and processing of these mines. So I think our focus should be on a whole chain, the vertical chain of mining to production to the finished goods, so that we are able to get a value addition to our mines, and also that we have our strategic control on our mines. Yes, Maria.
Right, of course, and Mr. Jia Baloch, you mentioned about Arabian Sea, and given CPEC's strategic port facilities and Arabian Sea's choke points, what joint naval or coast guard exercises should deepen or could deepen our maritime facilities when it comes to relations between both the countries?
Definitely,
Or maritime security cooperation?
Yeah, as the world moves into very uncertain times, non-state actors they become more active. I think there is an urgent need for all the neighboring countries who share the ocean to collaborate and cooperate in guarding these sea lanes. Because if we have all the minerals, all the oil, all the products, but if we cannot ensure the security of the high seas, and those lanes from which the international trade goes, I think it will become a big challenge. So I think, and Pakistan has, I think we are among the one of those countries who have very good coast guard security regimes, and also the troops and the equipment. So I think we should engage these Gulf countries into exercises, joint exercises, and develop those concepts, scenarios, war games. Of course, it is just to, war games not to have the wars, but to keep peace. That's the whole thing. So I think Pakistan should engage these Gulf countries into maritime security, into keeping the lanes working. And also now, as we know that we are so connected with the undersea cables. So I think that is another big challenge which has never been talked about. But definitely Dubai is also one of the nodal points for several cables, undersea cables. They connect the globe now. So I think there's another like sector which can come in. I'm sure that they have quite a bit of investment into the undersea cables, so which Pakistan also has a couple of them. So I think this is another I think new field in which Pakistan can collaborate and cooperate with our Gulf neighbors. Yes, Maria.
Maritime security cooperation remains an important factor when it comes to ties between both the countries. And Ambassador Naila, like Mr. Jia Baloch also mentioned about the transnational extremist or terrorist frameworks or threats emerging from, of course, these kind of regions, especially when it comes to maritime security and other areas as well. UAE is very much looking forward to investing in Balochistan and minerals as well. Railway is another area in which in 2024 UAE pledged to invest and bring in investments. But what kind of mechanisms as far as intelligence sharing is concerned is needed at this point in time?
Well, are you talking just about intelligence sharing, or you're talking about
overall cooperation to secure the investments that, of course, UAE has pledged so far?
Well, as per international law, the host government is responsible for providing security to investments. So it is Pakistan's responsibility to provide security to all the investors, particularly foreign investors. You have seen that our defense forces or security forces are constantly engaged in bringing peace and security in the country and on the peripheries, the boundary areas, the border areas. Unfortunately, some Chinese were killed. Chinese are very dear to us. But yes, intelligence sharing in that sense, when the American government representatives are here, they have that technology to do that in intel sharing that they were doing even in Ukraine. So that's a different dimension. But with UAE, we are basically talking about cooperation, investment, trade, economic, commercial relations, and security in a very general sense.
But of course, we have to ensure the security when we have to bring in investments. But let's move on towards the diaspora. We have around 1.8 million Pakistanis living in UAE, and they celebrate a lot of cultural festivals and religious occasions together. In your opinion, what kind of people-to-people platforms or activities are needed at this point in time to bring both nations closer together? Like you earlier mentioned about the Indian factor, which wasn't that much obvious previously.
Yes, that's very important. And since Pakistanis are the largest diaspora in UAE, the cultural agreement that has been signed recently is of great significance. It's basically getting to know each other through our cultural activities. So if our cultural division and the Ministry of Culture work together, it will promote better understanding of each other's culture, tradition, and that then facilitates and has impact on trade also, because people feel more confident about you. Unfortunately, in the recent times, due to these nefarious elements doing terrorist activities, Pakistan has suffered, our trade has suffered, our economy has suffered. But with such cultural exchanges, you tell the people that we are very decent people, we are trying to bring security here, and these are foreign sponsored people who have no vested interest in the country except to destroy it.
Right, and
we have to.
And Ambassador Sahaba, you have served in a number of countries. So, in your opinion, what kind of cultural-led platforms or in this digital era, what kind of platforms are needed to bring or spread that kind of narrative to other countries, especially to brotherly countries like UAE?
You see, or like PTV dramas are very nice. They demonstrate our culture. They're being seen all over the planet. So obviously, with translation, if we have good level of translation, giving them, Pakistan film industry is also improving itself. That is also very good. Then our music troupes, our young singers, the pop stars, they are very welcomed there. Atif Aslam is often there. And then you have sports diplomacy also, the cricket, the Sharjah, If
and
that
of course now Dubai serves as a home country to Pakistan, because most of the matches are played
yes,
that are supposed to be played in Pakistan are played now in Dubai. So of course that cricket diplomacy remains an important factor. Coming to you, Dr. Farhad, when we talk about bringing new leadership from both the countries, UAE and Pakistan, and of course we have 65% of our population under the age of 30 or 35. What joint university programs, especially in the areas of energy, finance and digital innovation, are needed in your opinion?
Thank you so much, Mariam. It's such a close to my heart question. Of course, Ambassador Naila was sharing about what latest technology, you were also asking about what latest platforms that were needed for building the connections. Of course, universities, but adding to what Ambassador Naila is saying, I mean, building our narrative, utilizing the social media power is very much important for us, not only for the government, but also for the people as well. And what we can do is that we can give a lot of information about UAE and countries, how to respect the laws and values of those countries. One of the agreements that you must have seen in this visit was about the consular service.
Yes.
One of the reasons for this is that people here in Pakistan do not understand other countries' laws. Ambassador Nala is here, and what is important is that to give those people who get the visa, who want to visit to the countries, to have at least understanding about those countries' laws and how to value them. No matter if you are in UAE or in Gulf countries, or you go in the global level. Here comes the universities. Here comes the age where we need to connect both sides. Higher Education Commission, our universities, they're working with the universities there. They have some offices, they have
And
their
what
regional.
what about the labor class that is moving to UAE and these Gulf countries?
You know, it is important for the labor class. You know, how labor class is being scrutinized through companies, right?
Of course.
And when we go more deeper, we know that if we ask the companies to give them at least a training, not only about the skills, but also a civic training as well to the labor class. At least they should know and respect those people, how they're living. You do not have to, put your own ideas and values there. You have to live in harmony with the people. And one of the reasons for us being there as 1.4 million people is because that we value the that country's, we are putting a value to that country. Otherwise,
adding a value to the society,
so
building infrastructure.
When you are labor class or a student or a skilled worker, you have to follow those norms and values. As you are at home, you consider that as your second home. Then based on that, this will also enhance a lot of partnerships and relationships. And building on that, of course, films, dramas, and more is less for us to do a lot of work, and important for us to continue
Of course,
working.
media collaboration
exactly.
between Urdu, English and Arabic.
Yes.
Yeah.
And of course, PTV on all the state channels and many others, YouTubers are working very closely with. You need to bench on those latest technologies and latest ways of connecting with people and reaching to the hearts. Food is also one of the commonality between us, of course, and we can bench that. Of course, food festivals or women festivals or family festivals and all those kind of things. And our participation, especially in international forums that are happening regularly, I mean daily in UAE, you can see a lot of conferences, a lot of digital forums, global summits. Recently, you must have seen Pakistan Pavilion there as well. So you need to do not miss any chance or any space that you can bench on forward by Pakistanis.
Right. And let me bring in Mr. G.R. Baloch onto the same question. Mr. G.R. Baloch, what's your take on that? How can Pakistani diaspora societies or communities within UAE can play a part in different segments of the society, especially when it comes to entrepreneurship and other sectors beyond sending remittances to Pakistan?
Yeah, see, Mariam, the diaspora is now being considered by our neighboring country as a strategic asset. And that is what we need to do. It, and you very rightly pointed out that we need to look at beyond the remittances, their very presence. They can be influencers in support of Pakistan. They can be influencers in projecting positive image of Pakistan. They can be influencer in even connecting Pakistan's business, culture, economy and finance with other, because we must not forget that because we are talking about UAE, UAE is kind of a metropolitan center, a global center of several countries. I think I was reading somewhere that over 100 plus nationalities that live in UAE. Like there are several international companies which have their headquarters, or at least regional offices in Dubai. There are several universities from different countries, Europe, American, which have campuses there. So I think we can play even beyond UAE while being there. So if our people are positive, they are apolitical. I'm not saying apolitical to completely disassociate from Pakistan, but at least there has to be counseling on them that we must not carry our domestic and internal prejudices and project them and promote them right there. Because that then gives us a bad image that it's a country divided from within. So how will we cooperate? So I think this is something which we need to really encourage, inculcate, and rightly pointed out that before they embark on their travel outside for work, whether it is skilled, unskilled, or highly skilled people, there has to be some kind of a counseling, there has to be some kind of a guideline as to how will they project Pakistan. Because we always used to say, when I was in the in different embassies and we used to meet the community, that the real ambassadors of Pakistan are the people. Because I said, you guys, you come across the people of the host country. We of course meet, but we meet it at the official level. So they are the real ambassadors. So they really need to project the right image of Pakistan. For that to happen, they need to be told, they need to be guided, and they need to be have their own kind of some kind of societies, organizations, which we have it, but it's like they should be apolitical. In fact, one would not again and again mention, but Indian diaspora is comparatively, if you look at it, is more organized. They know what is good for their country, and they accordingly like interact with the host countries. While there's a lot that has to be done as far as our community is concerned. Some of the organizations are good in some of the countries, like Apna in America, that doctors, Pakistani physicians of North America, they're doing amazing work. But at the same time, there's a need for our people in UAE and Dubai to sort of respect the local laws and also project and promote in a positive way the image of Pakistan, and in fact use this presence to promote and project Pakistan's image globally, because after all, UAE is a global village. Yes, Mariam.
Of course, very rightly said. And Mr. Jir Baloch, earlier in the program, we were discussing about the significance of this visit and the 3 MOUs that were signed. And beyond these MOUs, other MOUs, including on energy, infrastructure, mining and agriculture, were signed in the past 2 years between Pakistan and UAE. How can Pakistan craft a cohesive national roadmap to ensure these sectors deliver sustainable, inclusive growth?
Yeah, that's very important, that we have to really, because any investor will come, he will see how easy it is to really translate those ideas, those MOUs into actionable projects. And that requires preparation at our level. I think there is, let's concede what is missing. What is missing in our system is the capacity to come up with really doable projects. Of course, the sectors are all open, but for the investor, they need a doable, a productive, a recognizable, some kind of a project which is feasible and sustainable from the social, environmental, financial, and technical point of view. So that all homework we have to do before even we go and talk to any potential investor. And why? Because money is there. In fact, potential, like they are being chased by several countries who are seeking investment. The money is less, the investors are less. It's more like the whole Africa, the whole of Asia. Everybody want. In fact, even the developed countries like America. Now Trump said that, okay, come and invest in America. Chinese, they say, come and invest here. The Vietnamese, the Malaysians, the entire Southeast Asia. So there is a huge competition. We must realize that if we don't come up with feasible projects, it will be difficult to get the investment. So it's kind of a national challenge for our government, challenge for our technocrats. I hope that we are able to, we have some capacity, but we must enhance it to come up with that level where we compete with these countries that I mentioned earlier, Mariam.
Implementation of these MOUs remains a billion-dollar question. And as we are coming towards the end of the show, Ambassador Naila, I must ask you about the climate cooperation that is needed between Pakistan and UAE, because we are undergoing a climate crisis at the moment in Pakistan. With UAE's expertise in renewables, how can Pakistan integrate solar, wind into its climate resilience agenda through cooperation?
Well, that is already being done. Pakistan is one of the most affected country by the climate change. I think we are the fifth most
Yes, fifth
affected
most vulnerable countries.
vulnerable country, and our floods, the flash rains, even now you had hailstorms. So we need all sort of cooperation and assistance in this area. We have been talking about climate justice, but we have to put our own house in order also. So we have to do mitigation and preparation for the eventualities that the world
and
is
adaptation
now.
also remains an important
Mitigation,
need.
adaptation has to be worked on.
Right, that remains an important factor. What's your take on that, and also your concluding remarks when it comes to these important MOUs that have been signed in 2024 and the recent MOUs as well? What sort of mechanisms are needed to actually materialize those, so that we can actually see the fruit of these MOUs in different sectors in form of growth?
Thank you so much, Mariam, for putting this question. This is the $1 million, as you said, $1 million question, not only about climate change, about agriculture, energy. All we have to do is mechanize and prioritize of what exactly are we going to do and what exactly are we going to achieve. Even if the investment is coming, as Ambassador has also shared earlier, that we need to work as a combined company, presenting ourselves as a valuable to the global investors and asking them to invest in Pakistan. How they will do it? They will look at how we are secure as a country, how they will look at us as how their investment will be secured. And any investor globally or in a company, they always look at how value they will gain back. Value they gain back. They don't invest just to give you money. They invest, they want to get it back. Even if they're doing it in mineral, in energy, in climate change, in agriculture, everywhere. If UAE or any country will be investing in Pakistan, they will also look at how they will be gained back. This is a trust, this is a two-way process that we get and the other countries get. And how best we can do is that we put our house in order. We need to securitize our borders as we are doing it, of course, with all the resilience that we have been doing it. Of course, at the same time, we need to look at how the channels or mechanisms that we have already made, if they are on the paper, how well they are working and functioning, and how these investment, how this MOU can be translated. You need to look at how your governance structures, how your bureaucracy, how your people have the capacity to fulfill those promises and with the timelines, not just taking of course how it will take 10 years more or less. And for that matter, what I really want to convey this message from this platform is that to build the capacity of the young people, help them to understand your structures, your values, because they will be the one who will take lead. For example, Ambassador Naila, as she has rightly pointed out, that how valuable you put forward, you will gain back.
Of course.
And it is a message that we all would like to carry forward here at this platform.
Thank you very much, Dr. Farhat Asif, for joining us in today's program. Thank you very much, Ambassador Naila Chauhan, for joining us in today's program. Thank you very much, former Ambassador Mr. Jia Balot, for joining us in today's program. That's all from Game Changer tonight. Take care. Allah Hafiz.